The election is over, and now you're afraid. It's going to be okay. We'll make it through. So here we are on the day after, and many of you are afraid right now. You're worried about the future. You're worried about, democracy. You're worried about the rule of law. You're worried about your rights over your own body. You're worried about many of the fear-based topics that this one candidate has been speaking out loud. In this situation, all you have is your fear. And fear is all that you can manage. The first thing I would say is remember that fear is just an emotional reaction in your present moment. But it's always based in past experience and the expectation that something negative might happen in the future. But right here in this moment, it is just an emotional reaction. And it's a primal reaction. We have our fears, we have our anxieties. But all you can do in the present moment with fear is manage the fear itself, not the ideas of what may happen. The fear itself is a primal reaction. It's part of the fight or flight response. We draw air into our lungs, we hold it because we are creating a reserve of air so we can run fast. This comes from our natural instincts as the human animal. It's the fight or flight response, as I said. We know it's a primal response because if you take an infant and you just slightly jerk your hand like you may drop the infant will go and fill their lungs with air. So remember to exhale. And when I say exhale, I don't mean I mean fully exhale. Let your entire muscles relax. Spend as much time as you can just coming back to taking your present moment and bringing it down to being safe. Because that's what's going on right now. You're afraid that this person may follow through on all the promises they made, and that will harm this country and your point of view. The person who won has 4 years and no more. The 22nd Amendment says you can only serve 2 terms. So we have to deal with 4 years. There's no way he'll overturn the Constitution in the next 4 years. And there's no way that the 22nd Amendment will be taken out. So he has 4 years. Let's talk about some of the things we can do to alleviate the fear and understand that we can make it through this. In this anxiety, in this fear, and through all of these things we're about to talk about, remember, the number one key is to exhale. Let the air out of your body, because what happens when that air is in your body, it causes anxiety because the muscles are trying to hold the air in, and then your body suffers and everything gets tight and your mind goes crazy and you can't even think. So remember that primal fight or flight response is holding air in. And our job is to manage that response or negate that response or release that response by simply letting go of the air. The first thing I'm going to tell you to do is turn off your news. Turn it off. Don't watch news for the next 4 years. If something is crazily happening in the world that you need to know, I'm sure you'll find out. But don't watch the ongoing cycle of news that's going to be a drama of craziness like it was 4 years ago. I know many of you remember turning on the news and, oh my God, what happened today? That's the worst thing you could do is watch the news. Because the news is a regurgitating cycle of the same story over and over again. It's putting it in your head. It's telling you that this is something to fear. And the reality of it is, it was once said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Over the next 4 years, your job is to just simply manage your fear response. Be an action hero, not a reaction hero. Stay in that response of coming back to that neutral space and being in your clear mind and clear thinking, which is what happens when you relax and let all the air out. Stay focused on only what you can control. The majority of us in this country have no control over what the government actually does. We give our input, we give our thoughts on things, and then it goes to those elected officials, and then they negotiate and they do all kinds of things, and sometimes it goes their way and sometimes it doesn't. And it really comes down to, if you want to be in control of government, then the only way you can do that is to run for president yourself. So since you can't control that, bring your environment down to just being able to control yourself and your environment. Make your part of the world a loving, beautiful place. Don't and when you see these traumatic things or crazy things that are happening in the world, exhale and control your space, and understand that the people that you love in your life needs a safe place too. And you can be that bright spot in the world where my house is a beautiful space of love and compassion. We laugh here. You don't want to get focused on how horrible the world is, how negative the world is. You can only control the things you can control. So control your environment, control your mind, control your expression of life by limiting your exposure to the news cycle and to what's going on in your life. Exhale. Release all exposure to the crazy stories, because they're going to be crazy. They're going to be crazy over the next 4 years and 2 months. It's going to be crazy. And so reduce that exposure to that. As I said, focus on what you can control. And what you can control, first of all, is your own reaction to fear. Exhale, let that reaction out. Let that reaction out. I don't want people to be afraid in this world. And today, there are people who are absolutely terrified. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be okay. We're going to make it through. The next 4 years will be a whirlwind of craziness. But in that craziness, some positive things will come out of it. I often tell people in my private sessions that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is be a consequence. Well, sometimes the most loving things that happen in the world happen because of a consequence. We get hit with a consequence, and then it makes people go, "Oh, I didn't realize." So, my friends, in the end, this video is solely about you overcoming your fear in this situation. Exhale. Remember to make that your daily ritual. Whenever you feel stressed or anxious, just simply let it go. It's the one thing you can control in any moment of any day, is that you can release the fear. Exhale, let it out. Turn off the news. Don't let those things that make you fearful, let them go. Let them go. Focus on what you can control, because that's the only thing that you have power over, is what you personally can control. We'll get through this. I promise you that. We'll get through this. We've been through a lot in this world, in this country, and we're still here. It'll be a roller coaster. It'll be crazy, but we're still here after all the other crazinesses we've had. It's going to be okay, and we can move forward. And in the end, we will come to a more loving world and release this fearful one. It's coming. So turn off your TV, and you have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.